No, guys, when I said we're gonna get the next-gen gaming systems, I was obviously talking about Xboxes.
Yeah.
But I want a PS4, not a crappy Xbox.
Right, let's all get PS4s. No, the Xboxes are gonna be better.
You never listened. I told you I thought the PS4 was better, but you never wanted to listen to me, Kyle. You just had your head so set because that's how Xbox people are.
I may not be all that aggressive when it comes to console wars, but I certainly do have my own personal preferences above everything else, especially when it comes to superhero video games. But regardless, welcome back, true believers and all you spectacular Spidey fans, to another very exciting and extremely interesting Spider-Man PS4 related video. And yes, I am directly referring to the PlayStation 4 iteration of Marvel's Spider-Man, which did release all the way back in 2018, and not the PlayStation 5 remaster of the game, which was bundled with Miles Morales in 2020. Because recently there has been some very insightful details that have been unveiled about exactly how Spider-Man PS4 came to be. Primarily regarding the shocking information that at one point Spider-Man PS4 might have fully been an Xbox exclusive. Or more accurately, it would have been one if Microsoft didn't decide to pass on that opportunity. Now, according to this article from VideoGamesChronicle.com, is that Microsoft apparently turned down a deal with Marvel, which eventually led Sony and Marvel to make a deal, creating Marvel's Spider-Man as a full-on PlayStation exclusive. Where Jay Ong himself, who if you don't know is the executive vice president and head of Marvel Games directly, revealed how Xbox completely turned down a golden opportunity to make fully licensed Marvel video games. And as the article states, in an excerpt from Stephen L. Kent's 2021 book, The Ultimate History of Video Games Volume 2, executive vice president and head of Marvel Games Jay Ong explains how the company cut its earlier deal with Activision short in search of a better partnership. According to Ong, Marvel Games wasn't happy with the quality of the Spider-Man games being published by Activision, and the two companies mutually agreed to terminate their licensing deal early. In fact, Ong said himself that when the deal was made to walk away, Activision asked him, "What are you going to do with this IP after you get it back?" And obviously, the main IP in question is directly relating to all of the characters underneath the Marvel banner, but the main one of which being Spider-Man. To which Ong replied, "I'm going to find a better home for it." And keep in mind that this next statement was made directly by a full-on executive employee working at Activision at the time, where they went on to stupidly reply, "Good luck finding your unicorn."
Circus, Afro, circus, Afro, circus, Afro, polka dot, Afro.
Now granted, I am personally a major fan of the majority of Spider-Man games that were fully developed underneath the Activision publisher. In fact, some of my absolute favorite pieces of Spider-Man entertainment do come directly from the Activision Marvel games. Mainly in the cases of Spider-Man Web of Shadows, Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, and of course the ever-iconic Spider-Man 2000 developed by Neversoft. But after hearing Activision act so ignorant and arrogant towards Marvel doesn't necessarily make me feel all that bad anymore, especially given the current state of Spider-Man in video game form that we are now receiving from Insomniac Games. So if anything, I do think that the massive amounts of clown energy that is radiating off of any of these companies is most definitely emitting more from Activision in comparison to Microsoft. Still, it is pretty interesting to read about what Microsoft's thought process was during this point in time, where Marvel didn't fully decide exactly who their next partners were going to be. Because during this interim period, Jay Ong said that Marvel Games went down to both Xbox and PlayStation to see if either of them would be interested in forming an exclusive partnership, asking them, "We don't have any big console deals with anyone right now. What would you like to do?" And coming from Microsoft themselves, their strategy, as Ong recalls, was to focus on its own IP. And as such, it decided to pass on the offer. Because as we all know, games like Halo, Gears of War, and Forza are certainly more exciting than any type of AAA game that could be made for characters like Spider-Man, Wolverine, the Avengers, and so on. Or at least that's what the heads of Xbox thought at the time. But what I personally find even more admirable and inspirational about this is that Jay Ong said we have a dream at Marvel that this is possible. That we could beat the Batman Arkham franchise and have one game at least, and maybe multiple games, that could drive adoption of your platform, which was essentially his sales pitch to both Sony and Microsoft. And after hearing this pitch, Sony reportedly responded by offering to make a AAA PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man game, and handed the project to Insomniac, which was an independent studio at the time, but was considered one of Sony's most important partners. Because yes, this was during the time where Insomniac was not yet a full-on first-party studio underneath the PlayStation Studios publisher banner, but rather was a third-party studio making a first-party game. And after seeing how far Insomniac have come ever since the initial release of Spider-Man PS4 up to now is nothing short of breathtaking. But the overall impact that Spider-Man PS4 had within the gaming industry, as well as the entire genre of superhero games as a whole, doesn't just end there. Because Jae Ong analyzed that wanting to create a PlayStation exclusive franchise, Sony not only lent Marvel's Spider-Man a gigantic marketing budget, the console giant also offered technical support from start to finish. When it came to Spider-Man, Activision wasn't prepared to compete against games like Batman Arkham Asylum, but on the flip side, Sony was. And to date, the Arkham games and Marvel's Spider-Man are unrivaled among superhero games for sales, with a steep drop to the next tier down. And according to Jae Ong himself, Spider-Man's success on the PlayStation 4 was the first time Marvel realized the true potential of video games as a medium. And if any of you have been keeping up with all the sales statistics for all of Insomniac's Spider-Man adventures, is that Spider-Man PS4 went on to sell over 20 million copies worldwide, officially making it the highest selling superhero game of all time, which, to reiterate one more time, was a full-on PlayStation 4 exclusive. And even further with the spin-off game of Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, is that title went on to sell over 6.5 million copies within an 8-month time span, which also made it one of Sony's most financially profitable PlayStation 5 launch titles and PlayStation exclusives ever developed.
And that's the beauty of it. We've been given the great power and responsibility. We were told, make great games. So it doesn't have to exist between TV shows, it doesn't have to exist between films, it doesn't have to exist between comics, even though we're influenced by all these things. We're told, just make your own best game and let your partners, who we've chosen for a reason, to do what they do best.
Yeah, and I also want to add one more thing. A big part of that is Sony. They have supported this game so damn well, and they are unbelievably publishing partners, and I want to thank them for everything they've done over these years. They are fantastic.
In the end, everybody, I just find it really interesting to learn about the full-on history that went into the creation of Spider-Man PS4 and the origin of how exactly Marvel ended up partnering with PlayStation and Insomniac to create such incredible games. If you couldn't already tell, is that Spider-Man PS4 is without a doubt my personal favorite Spider-Man game ever made, and honestly, one of, if not my most favorite interpretations of the character ever created outside of the comics. Insomniac, Marvel, and PlayStation was simply a destined matchup waiting to happen, and seeing where they are now in comparison to where they were a few years ago is utterly mind-blowing without question. And as a Marvel fan who is completely enthralled within the world of video games, I for one couldn't be happier. But with all that said, everybody, that's the video I have for you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. What do you think of these details relating to how Microsoft and Activision handled their relationship with Marvel? And would you have been upset if Marvel's Spider-Man actually ended up being an Xbox exclusive? Let me know what you think. Be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more Spider-Man videos like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and without further ado, peace out.